Okay, this is the quilt that I was talking about in the first video that I made. And the first video, I had someone make an observation that I should have made my corner on the right different from the way that I did the corner. So that has been corrected now, and I'm ready to start stitching this border. I have already got all my patterns the way that I want them. I drew a boundary in this top border, and I placed the left corner and the right corner and all the patterns in between. Now I have this right corner toggled as sewn. And the reason why I did that is because I know that stitching this across here, there probably is going to be of some shrinkage, not sure how much, but there'll be some shrinkage. And if I leave this and let it stitch it, it probably will quilt over in this area where I don't want it to, and it won't go out to the edge like I want it to. So I'll stitch this corner and the patterns here, and then it'll tie off, and I'll readjust this right corner. So I'm going to stitch this out, and I'll come back. Okay, I finished that and it tied off. Now I'm here and I'm going to adjust this. I deleted the old boundary and drew a new boundary just in this corner area. Now you can see I drew the new boundary, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of adjusting to this pattern to get it to stitch the way I want it to stitch, because I don't want it to go outside of that boundary. So I'll do some adjusting of it. And okay, I'm going to go back to my regular handles here. See if I can't get this a little bit better refined. I'll have to make, I think I'm going to use my gray handles. I'm just going to call that good. Okay, here's something you have to be careful of. When I did all of that adjusting, you can see now, I was just going by what was on the screen. You can see that the end of the stitching is right there where the needle is, but the pattern is there, so that's what you have to be careful of. This point here needs to start stitching right there. So I'm going to get my nodes, turn off the end snap here, take this, bring it down to right there. Now I'm going to get this one, bring it down and turn on the end snap, snap it to there. And that should be pretty close. Turn off that end snap. Okay, we'll see how that works. Okay, I'm ready to start working on the interior of the quilt. I have the boundary. I have the boundary here at the top, the border. Have that in there. I need to get rid of that boundary. And start a new quilt group here, and I'll draw boundaries, and then I'll start quilting the interior. Okay, my first boundary is in place, and this is going to take this feather half right here. That's what this is going to take. And I'll put this in, then I'm going to have to flip it and adjust it. Then okay, it's going to go in something like this right here. So I'll have to adjust it to fit in there. and it looks like it is going to fit fairly well. I'm going to get my handles that will allow me to change it like this. You just have to adjust it and get it back into the boundary, and may have to do this several times. See what happens here. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, do it again. Okay, that looks like it's going to be pretty good. Right there. That'll work. So I'm going to stitch this out now. Got that in place. Okay, this is my next area to quilt. This measures 8 inches this way and 30.5 this way. So I'm going to check over here and see what the size of this is. View the properties. 7.85 by 30. So that's probably going to be pretty good right there. I'll leave it like that. And I'm just going to bring this over. Just grab it like this. Bring it over. I'm going to get my nose. I'm going to flip it vertically. And now what I like to do is I have this selected. I'll just use the hold down the control key, hit the down key, and put this right in place. All right, I'm gonna hold down the Alt key so I can move it a little tiny bit at a time. Wow, that looks like it's going to fit really, really well in there. It's amazing, this pattern. These patterns, these 4 patterns are by Lori Thomas. Designed these for me for this quilt. So I'll stitch this out. I have another boundary in place, and what I think I'll do is I will copy this and take it over here and paste it. Now I'm going to have to flip this horizontally. Then I'm going to work around and try to get it in place. I do this because it's already adjusted to fit that one boundary, and we'll see how close this boundary is to that one. Get that in there. I think I pretty much like that. I may change to my gray handles and try to nudge this over just a little tiny bit. You have to be careful. Okay. That is about as good as this can be. Right there. Okay. Just stitch it out. So I will put the pattern in the boundary. Now this boundary here gets the curls pattern, and I'm going to check the property, see what it says. 9.9, okay, 39, okay, so I'll check that. Okay, I have this pattern adjusted to fit the way I want it to. I saved it, and now I'm going to stitch this out. I have another area here that's exactly the same as this, and this gets the curls pattern. And these patterns are by Lori Thomas. So I'll stitch this out, and then I'll draw this boundary. I'm not going to draw this boundary until this has stitched out. This row is all quilted. And just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like once I do the next row, I'm going to select this, copy it, come down here, paste it. Okay, there we go. Now, the only thing is, this is all going to be upside down. Flip this vertically. Now, this is what the next section is going to look like when it's quilted. It's going to look like that right there. So, I'm going to end this video, and I'll start a new one the next time that I start quilting, and we'll see how this turns out. But that's the way that this would look. So if I select that, if I close up this gap and move it over this way a little bit, that's the way it's going to look as I quilt it. Now, I won't quilt this like this. I will just delete this and draw new boundaries and place the patterns in the boundaries.